your hand in your teeth.
Whoa, wait a minute. We are live. No more handing teeth.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you're good. So we'll go ahead and get started. Drew, your movie quote. Why look mine up? I'm not ready tonight.
Oh man, you know what? I am ready. This is a real change of pace.
Yeah,
my movie quote is not from a comic book movie. It's from an action movie from 2010. And the quote is, "There's nothing I'd like more than to see that Mexican dance the bolero at the end of a rope."
Too soon.
Nope.
That left me.
Is it a Western movie?
It takes place in the Southwest.
Oh, well, doesn't help me any.
It's based off of a character that's based off of a fake trailer from another movie.
It's gotta be Machete then.
It is Machete.
No, I never have seen it. Sorry.
Oh, you need to rectify your life and go see Machete.
Sorry. Paul, you're up with your quote.
My quote is from way back in 1975. Listen, strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Supreme executive power derives from a mandate from the masses, not from some farcical aquatic ceremony.
This is from 2005?
No, 1975.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought you said 2005. There's no way that Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail came out in 2005.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you're just saying it. No. Okay, moving on to Pocan Joe.
All right, mine's from 2009. It's a war/action movie. I love rumors. Facts can be misleading, where rumors, true or false, are often revealing.
What year was it?
2009 war movie.
In the Army now? No, not in the Army now. No,
This is not a comedy.
No idea.
In the opening part of the movie, it is, I'll give you the character's name, Colonel Hans Landry. Inglorious Bastards.
Oh my goodness, it's been a while since I've seen that.
Great movie.
Mine's from I think it's 79. I think that's what I remember. Mongo no go. Mongo stare with Sheriff Bart. Sheriff Bart
Saddles.
first man ever whipped Mongo. What?
Blazing Saddles.
It is Blazing Saddles. Talking about a not PC movie anymore, man. I doubt you can play that without getting in trouble anymore.
Yeah, you're
Mel
right.
Brooks and Monty Python tonight.
Yeah. Okay, Drew, before we get started with the books, give us an update on that chat. Since Mike's not here, popping with his headset.
Kind of slow goings right now, but Bake the Snake just popped in the chat. We got Comics Misexplained as well. What's going on, boys? We got Double S Comic Reader, my nephew, hanging out in the chat, as well as Jock Yo. So, yeah, a few people stopping by and saying hi.
Congratulations to Bake the Snake. Over the last 2 days, we've been doing the Heroes Initiative auction, partaking in that, and he got some great books.
Big spenders over on the Heroes Initiative auction kind of scared me, especially with the level of spending I'm doing for Christmas.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm flat out broke, and I'm like, I can't afford anything right now.
Definitely fun to watch.
Wouldn't give us your first book there, Mike. I'm talking about Mike here.
Yeah, we are Spider Grandpa free at the moment. Hoping that he is gonna catch us on the rewind and see all the terrible things we say about him. He spends some time with his family for the holidays.
He probably can't hear because his headset's messed up.
Seawood just hopped in the chat. Hey yo, What's going on, C. Wood? Throwing toothpicks in everybody's eyes. Let's talk about an eyesore right here, and that's Batman Damned issue number 2. Is the Joker dead? Who knows? Who cares? This book sucks. It's ugly, and it makes no sense. We get rapping Etrigan the Demon in here because Brian Azzarello and hip-hop, they're two things that really go together. This story doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever. I don't know why Constantine's in this. I have no idea why they decided that this version of Etrigan the Demon was a good idea. It's probably the worst character redesign in the history of comics. The coloring in this book is just all over the place. It's just I don't have any idea what's going on. It's like, hey, let's show Batman's dick. Okay, well, what are we gonna do to follow that up? A rap written by Brian Azzarello. Okay, that sounds great. How do we draw it? As shitty as we possibly fucking can. This is my blast of the century. This is even worse than the first issue. I don't know how you do that. I will not be picking up issue number 3 unless somebody else's genitalia is appearing. I won't be picking it up.
I think I was part 1 this week. I read about a page or a page and a half and decided I didn't hate myself near enough to continue reading.
Yeah, this is the blast of the year by far.
Oh, save that for the blasties coming up.
No, I can't save it. Nothing else will compare. It's fresh in my mind. I hate it, and I want it to die in a fire.
Well, Joe, do you have anything?
Bake the Snake just said number 3 is the last one.
Yeah, there's only 3.
Nothing's fucking happened yet.
Joe, what do you think of Batman Damned? Say something good about it.
Yeah, I know.
It sure had pages.
All right, so here's what we got. We got a couple of people, and I mentioned this in Baltimore when we first talked about it. They threw in some shock value, and they're still trying to ride the wave off of that. It's a horrible book. The story is not complete in any way. The plot holes in it are enough to make you want to just, I don't know, suck on the end of a live gun. Random characters are popping in, and we're kind of used to this in the comic book industry. All right, but usually they play some role of some sort, and there's Constantine. Now don't get me wrong, I love Constantine. I love his attitude. I love the way he does things. But in this book, I don't think they used him correctly, and I'm really waving my hands around because it was just that horrible. I just want to take the book and just shake it really hard like a screaming baby. It was horrible.
Wow.
Put this screaming baby out of its misery, for Christ's sake. Pop into the chat real quick. Got a couple people mentioning their blast of the year. Comics Mix Explained says Tom King's Batman and Bendis' Superman will be my blast of the year. I thought Bendis' Superman until I read this. I would read Bendis' Superman as the only book I ever bought ever again if I could just take back having to see Batman Damned. If this would just go away, then I would be like, all right, sure, Bendis Superman, no problem.
I'm not that brutal on it. I didn't like it. I hated the whole demon thing with the rapper and all that stuff. That stuff was absolutely ridiculous. Some of the art was okay. I mean, but it doesn't quite fit Batman for me. I don't know. I don't think this art belongs for a Batman book. Maybe they cut out the nudity toward the end when Harley Quinn pulled her top down a little bit. I wonder if they covered her boobs up to keep from more controversy. Who knows?
Good. Ruin the only redeeming quality this book could have had.
No, I heard that they did. That it was originally supposed to be her topless.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that was just a guess on my part. I didn't know anything about it. I wonder at the end, though, I've read some other articles saying, what is Batman doing to Harley? Is he killing her, or is he having a little bat fun with her? Who knows what's going on there. I will pick up issue 3 because I'm just going to go ahead and finish the run. and but unfortunately, it's a blast.
Comics Misexplained said now he wants an Etrigan game that's like Parappa the Rapper.
Parappa the Rapper was great, and to sully that with some Etrigan the Demon bullshit from Azzarello, it just really hurt my heart.
Paul, you're up with your first book.
Let's do. Let's remove some of the stain of Batman the Dam. Let's go with Magic Order. That was my co-pick of the week, and because I know Poke and Joe didn't read it yet, just wow, I didn't expect that. This is going to be one hell of a finish. Everything we've all said for the first 4 issues, this is more in the same but better.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It had a big twist. We don't want to spoil it for Joe, but a huge freaking twist that came out of freaking nowhere.
I did not see that coming.
No, I absolutely loved it. I don't know how they're going to redeem from this. I'm getting Drew, why don't you go ahead and jump in and give your review? Hold on one second. Go ahead.
Well, as much as I would really love to cockblock Joey's enjoyment of this book by spoiling it for him, I'm not going to do that. And my best M. Night Shyamalan from his role on Robot Chicken, I'll just say, what a twist. This is good stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I got multiple stuff going on here. Family members coming by unannounced and trying to get that all situated.
Yeah, I had a little visitor too.
So yeah, I think it's probably my co-pick of the week. That twist that where here the family member, the siblings are headed to go take care of the main bad guy. Wham! Hit you like a ton of bricks.
I had to read it twice because I'm like, did I just read that?
That's one thing that's been nice kind of about this whole series, this Magic Order series. There's always a huge like holy crap moment in the book. And this is probably the biggest holy crap moment of the whole series so far. So
yeah,
definitely co-pick of the week.
Definitely beats her getting out of a cop car in issue 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Joe, you can unplug your ears now. And what was your next book or your first book for the evening?
Oh, mine. Let's talk about X-23. All right, so we've just picked up a new story arc here at the beginning of it. Beautiful cover there. That is definitely my favorite cover so far. This is great. We got a great mystery. We got excitement. We got adventure. We got Honey Badger being a smart ass. And we got X-23 teaching her the ropes still, right? Great story, complete storytelling with bits and pieces that hook you in and want you to learn more about what's going on. However, the supposed new assassin, that kind of let me down. I was expecting more from that, a real bad guy. And basically we got another clone that's more cyborg than clone. Okay. Do something cool with it, please. Please don't make me drop this. That's all I'm begging these writers. Don't make me dump this because I'm really digging this series and I want to complete this.
I passed on it. I thought about going to pick it up just because it had that first appearance in there, but I passed on it. Drew?
Yeah, this is a stash. I really like what they're doing with bringing another clone character. I think that the lessons that Gabby as Honey Badger learned from dealing with the Stepford Cuckoos and their being clones is only going to be expanded upon on this story arc. I think that it basically being a clone of her, it's the new X-23. Basically, it's the new mutant weapon that the Weapon Plus is throwing out there, and I think that it's going to give them an opportunity to learn something from this. And I think that Honey Badger seeing the clone as as human first, and it is indicative of her character. And I think Laura's reticence to kind of be on board with that is going to play really nicely with these characters. I dig it. I think that the art leaves a little bit to be desired, but I'm really loving the story, man. So this is good stuff. I'm gonna stash it.
Joe, what covers did you have, Joe?
A and B.
What's the B cover? Is that? Yeah, that B cover is pretty hot book right now. It's going for like $25, something like that.
Yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah. According to what Key Collector, I think that even cover A is going for $10 roughly. So that's because probably the hype for that new villain or whatever, new assassin.
It will drop dramatically when everybody realizes it's another clone.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Or then they kill it off in the middle of the story arc.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with my first book, and I'm surprised this is not super hot right now. As I said in our private chat, this is my sister is in this book. So that is Sasquatch Detective #1. This is a pretty thick book. This is 64-page special with $7.99. So the whole story is her and her family live out in the woods, and there's a park ranger that's actually there, and they actually go down and watch TV through the window of the park ranger's cabin. Yeah, Drew's shaking his head. Yeah, so they watch all these CSI, they watch all these law enforcement shows, and she sees this commercial saying, the captain for the LAPD says, "Hell, I would even take a Sasquatch right now. They're looking for men." So she applies online to get into police academy. She gets in. She's a police. She gets into police. She ends up moving herself up into a detective. I was like, I was groaning before I got into it, but it wasn't too bad. It was actually pretty funny. Maybe because I have a bias towards park rangers. I don't know. But $8 is a pretty big cover price for it, but it is 64 pages. It was a fun book. I would wait for, huh?
Who hurt you?
Who hurt me?
Nope. Nobody hurt him. Of course he's stashing it. All right. He's the Danger Ranger who happens to be a half Squatch. Of course he's gonna stash it.
On two ends there, I gotta stash it. The Park Ranger end and the Sasquatch end. I gotta stash it.
It's like Black Panther all over again. Even if it's not that good, the representation just really puts it out there.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm really hoping that there's going to be a Detective Sasquatch movie, and maybe I might get a part. But it was a fun book. I'm not going to deny it, but it was a fun book. And nobody else read that. Nobody else bothered to pick it up, even though Joe was ready to rush out and grab it because he thought it was my sister's book when I was joking in our chat.
Yeah, everybody should know that. So early in the week, he says, "Hey, did everybody pick up my sister's book?" And I'm the new guy on the show, and I've heard brief references to Huey being called a Sasquatch. So I'm like, holy shit, let me support my friend and his family. So I'm like, dude, I didn't get it. I'm gonna rush out and get it, thinking it was his real sister.
Yeah, it's just a little joke, and I thought, oh shit, I hope Joe doesn't run out and go out, grab it, and look for it, because that's not what it was. So that's why I was trying to dip that in the bud there at the beginning. Before you go, your next book, Drew. What else is going on in chat? I don't think there's anything else.
Not too much going on in the chat. Seawood stopped in. We got Double S talking about me rather reading Bendis Superman. So that's how far we're backed up there. Comics Misexplained still hanging out. He says apparently Sasquatch Detective was a backup in the Snagglepuss Chronicles.
That is correct. I heard that too, but I did not want to pick up the Snagglepuss. That did not. I read the description on that. And it did not fit in with my,
half Squatch ways.
Half Squatch ways. But now I might have to go back and get it. Who knows?
Alrighty.
Go ahead, Drew.
Let's go ahead and say some really nice things about a DC book called Batman Detective Comics.
Woo!
Man, this is the first opportunity to get a look at the story by Peter J. Tomasi, which is going to run the road to 1,000. Yeah, man, this is good stuff. That Batman is just being a detective and doing detective work, and that's exactly what you want from it. Mankey does the art; it's really on point. My one question would be: this is a really classic Batman style story where he's dealing with Gordon. So I don't know where this fits in timeline wise with Tom King's abortion, but beyond that, this is pretty darn good, man. I'm enjoying it. Tomasi writing Batman again. The art is on point. It's intriguing. I want to see where it goes, man. Good stuff.
Paul didn't read this, but Joe did. Xanther Comics 994.
Sorry, there was only one cover to get, and this was the cover to get. First off, how strong is this cover right here? You got the the young boy and the man he's to be and the parents dying, and it fits so well into the story because we got a copycat killer out there. What a great story. And then we got a villain. I don't know what this dude's made of, but nothing stops him because, like everybody else, I dumped the previous abortion and picked it up in the new arc here. So this, I'm very excited about. The artwork in it's sharp, clean. You can actually see things in it. We got great dialogue going on, but it's not overly wordy where they're just saying things to say things. I mean, we got great action. We got 2 basic stories going on, which is great. And it's hard to fit into 28 pages, 2 stories, but I think they're doing a beautiful job of it. And I'm just surprised to see Batman be able to compose himself with the murder, watching a replica of the murder of his parents. And now, if that's a spoiler, I'm sorry, but you kind of know that going into this because it's so relevant. And they're going to do great things with this.
I'm probably not going to spoil it any more than what you said there. This is what Batman's supposed to be like to me. I read this book and this is like, shit, this is good. I mean, I like Tom King sometimes. I don't like him all the time. But this is good shit. I mean, this is my stash of the week right here. I mean, this is just, like Drew said, classic Batman storyline and what it's supposed to be. The art is great. I mean, check out the splash page. I mean, that's some great stuff right there. I absolutely love that picture. That's some good stuff. The only downside I see to it, and it goes into talking about the copycat killer of Bruce's parents, you know, they went to every single little detail trying to get the perfect copycat. But I don't know why. Maybe they'll explain that later, why he didn't put him in Crime Alley, why he put him in the tubes or you know, whatever they're in. I'm saying if you go into that detail, she make you want the exact spot where the parents were murdered to kind of like drive that home a little bit more, you know, have the geography down there. But other than that, dude, oh my God, pick of the week for me. Whew, I'm glad Tomasi's on this. I tweeted to him on Twitter, said, man, dude, good stuff. Haven't been this excited for Batman in a while. So, moving on. Let's see what else say about Detective Comics.
Comics Misexplained said, hell yeah, love that issue.
We'll move on to Paul, the next book.
Let's get Marvel out of the way. And the one I read was Fantastic Four Wedding Special. I went into this with pretty low expectations, and for the most part, it met those expectations. It wasn't offensive to me, but it wasn't that great. I mean, the best part of it was She-Hulk. She was hysterical. And Great Legend of Love, there was a Hembeck story in an FF book, so 2 of his favorites right there. I mean, it is what it is. It's just a throwaway issue, and it had some funny moments, but there was nothing really of any import happening here.
Oh, I know it's on there. Okay. You didn't read that one, Joe, I know, but Drew did. Go ahead, Drew, real quick.
Yeah, this was enjoyable, dumb fun tied to the FF wedding. That's fine. It's totally missable. If you're reading FF, you don't need it moving forward. I have a feeling that there's some foreshadowing stuff in here with Puppet Master. They kind of went a little hard into it for it to go nowhere. But maybe it's just because that's really one of the only overarching storylines that Alicia Masters has been a part of. So maybe that's the case. Maybe it's a little bit of foreshadowing. Either way, the art was definitely on point in all these stories. Even the ridiculous bachelorette party story that really had no point other than to be dumb fun.
And it was. It was dumb fun.
It was fun. It was dumb. And there's nothing in this book that I found offensively bad. It's just not something that I really even needed. So take that as you will. Definitely not a blast. But not exactly a stash either.
I'd put it in a soft stash for me.
As far as a Fantastic Four completionist, yeah, it's a stash.
Yeah, I picked up the Art Germ She-Hulk cover on that one.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was good. Like I said, Drew, though, and Paul, you don't have to read it to know what's going on. It was just kind of a little side story. Yeah, we all know Alicia and Ben are getting married. They didn't, I figured what Didn't was it Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm tried to get married like in was it the 80s or 90s, and it was interrupted by Skrulls or something like that. I didn't know if that was going to happen again in this issue, but it was just kind of remind me of the X-Men wedding special a little bit. Those little side stories about before the wedding and all that stuff. Would I pick it up again for $4.99? No, I wouldn't pick it up again for $4.99. It would be one that I would
blew the X-Men wedding special away, though.
No, yeah. I'm not saying that it was worse than that. I'm just saying the stories just kind of similar. It's like here's the bachelorette party. Similar. Here's this, So
it was like an extra annual. I mean, usually an annual, nothing of any import happens. It's just silly stories.
Yeah, I do like the connection that they showed when Ben Grimm went to go get permission to marry Alicia from the Puppet Master. And then it kind of showed that little thing at the end there where that was kind of interesting little connection. But other than that, I could avoid it.
Double S, she did not crash the wedding, but she did go a little nuts in the male strip joint beforehand.
Yeah, she did. And Alicia stripping down Iron Man. Yes, just like that. Oh, now remember this piece. Oh. So
and they're all like,
I was gonna make it rain.
Yep. That's what she said. Hulk smash. I was gonna make it rain.
Yeah. Going on to Pocan Joe.
Oh, let's talk about Miles Morales, Spider-Man. And by the way, I watched the Into the Spider-Verse movie. It's an okay flick.
You're out of your mind. Best comic book movie ever released.
I've heard it's great.
Oh my God, we'll talk about it.
Okay. It was okay.
Better than Infinity War.
So, but this comic book, oh my God, this comic book is really good. They really set up the character. Yes, there's a little bit of an origin story in it, and I know we get kind of filled up with that kind of stuff, but we got a classic villain in here, and I'm just going to show you all a little preview of some of the artwork in this. It's actually really nice. Something I really wasn't expecting. We got the Rhino looking for his daughter, trying not to be a bad guy. They kind of tussle it up a little bit. We find the daughter, but something's wrong. Don't want to ruin it for you because that's where the real spoiler is. However, the artwork in this has been really good. Miles Morales was not a thing when I was first collecting comic books, so I'm really kind of excited to see this. Got some good stuff going on it. I'm really kind of understanding the universe of it, and I'm really enjoying the artwork in this. It's very clean, very sharp. And to be honest, it's a fun read. It's Peter Parker back when Peter Parker was Peter Parker. Now, how's that for a statement?
Back when Peter was Peter.
But definitely a stash. We'll be picking these up. And I was able to get this great animation variant as well. Super stoked about that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It got a little political in there, but comics do. I do like the fight between Rhino and Miles Morales. I thought was really good. Then there's kind of like, whoa, wait a minute, you're not, like you said, you think he's a bad guy, but he's not the bad guy. He's trying to do something else. He's trying to save his child. So, I mean, I thought it was okay. I don't think I'd be picking up issue 2 though. I'm just not that into Miles Morales. I mean, I'll pick up Spider-Man, even the regular Peter Parker Spider-Man. I have been since who's the one who took over recently? It's Nick Spencer. Yeah. That's been pretty good. But I can hit or miss on Spider-Man, especially the newer stuff. So I'll be picking up issue 2 though. How about you, Drew? You didn't read this, did you?
I did not. I actually didn't even realize it came out. But I'm super not excited to read a Miles Morales story not by Bendis. No, maybe it'll be okay. But
you're giving Bendis some good vibes.
It's his character. He created it. Every Miles run so far has been written by Bendis. He's pretty much been a very strong gatekeeper for that character, and I'm kind of curious as to what happens when he's no longer in charge of him. But at the same time, Miles, I could take or leave. I really enjoyed the new movie, so but Miles as a whole, it's not something that I was really excited for, and like I said, wasn't on my pull list, and I completely missed it. All About Comics just jumped in the chat. What's going on, JP?
My next book, and I'm surprised I'm the only one that read this week. But I know, Joe, you were missing some books too. But Justice League Dark #6. Did you have this on your pull list, Joe?
Oh yeah, that's a constant for me in any variance for it.
Yeah, and this is the what's his name? Clayton Crane.
Yeah,
variant cover B for that one. So I definitely had to pick that one up. So now I know you love Bobo, Joe. I mean, you always talk about, man, if there's a guy, a chimp with a sword, that's great. Now, I always think of Bobo when I read this, so I think of you because you're talking about. He's like, oh, I need to get drink, and in this issue, he's trying to make it right. He's trying to because he screwed up because he cast a spell trying to make a shortcut because he didn't feel like he could take over this realm and protect it the way it should be. He kind of left it over to Blue Devil, which I want to give a shout out to the Lombard Crusade. I just listened to the one they're doing the 12 Crusade mints for Christmas. They always do 12 episodes right leading up to Christmas, and they had actually a guy on there, Irredeemable Shag, on the Fire and Water podcast. He talked about Blue Devil. I didn't know a whole lot about Blue Devil. I didn't know that he was a stuntman before he kind of became a reluctant superhero. I don't know if anybody else knew that about Blue Devil.
So he's a Ghost Rider ripoff?
No, like a Hollywood stuntman, the Fall Guy. Not Johnny Blaze, but he kind of got fused in that. So they talked about that, which kind of gave me a little history on Blue Devil because I didn't know a whole lot about him. He even talks about that in here, how he's like, dude, I used to be a stuntman. I used to be in Hollywood. I don't know what I'm doing here. But Bobo knows he needs to fix it. So he goes back to the spell book. He needs to get more drunk in order to get the spell correct. So that's what he has to do. He ends up drinking more, so he's reading the spell correctly. It's a good book. He does end up fixing everything. There's still some issues that, a little spoiler at the end, leaves you hanging for the next issue. Good stuff. Continue to be on my pull list stash. I don't know anybody else. Let's go back to Drew. First, anything else going on in the chat before you talked about?
Oh, we got some appearances by some great friends of ours, All About Comics. JP is in the chat. I shouted him out a minute ago. The Great Legends Show just showed up. He is trying to relax after his streamathon the past 2 nights, running that Heroes auction for Edwin Strictly Comics. They raised an ass ton of money for the Heroes Initiative. So shout out to you guys over there and what you're doing. Let's see.
And I think they did say they were going to have to extend to do a 3rd day on next Saturday too.
Holy McMoley.
Yeah, next Saturday they had so many donations, and I mean just really solid stuff too. No junk on there. And I picked up a couple of things myself, and I'm kind of stingy with my money, but it's for a good cause, so why not?
But you're rich, so
rich. I do what I want.
Exactly. Speaking of rich, I picked up this #1 issue. It's going to be worth a mint one day. It's called The Batman Who Laughs, and man, is this a stash. I only have a couple questions, and that is, they're all DC continuity related, and I realized that when I read DC books, I need to put that out of my mind because Dan DiDio and Jim Lee don't give a fuck about continuity. They don't care as long as you're buying these books. And I'm all right with that. This really doesn't fit in anywhere with Batman or Justice League or even Metal at this point. But I really enjoyed every part of it. The art was great. The new Grim Knight was a fantastic addition as a character. More Batman Who Laughs is good stuff. We get Joker being, Joker, and a really nice twist that is really going to change how this story moves forward. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think that we're going to see something different than we all expected when we went into this. Yeah, this is a stash.
Paul?
was a stash, but for me, it was just okay. I mean, it was so overly hyped that I don't think it was ever going to meet expectations for me. It's going to be a good series. I'm going to keep reading it, but it's not going to be the greatest thing ever. And I think the biggest problem for me is it was birthed out of Dark Knight's metal, and I think it still has some of that stink on it.
Oh, that's called Snyder's great writing. You missed that because Tom King's ruined Batman, so you're not used to it anymore.
Okay, Joe, how about you?
Oh, this was awesome. First off, I read the first, the regular trade dress, and I was like, oh my God, I got to get more of this. So I did. So I went ahead and searched the Tidewater area and started finding all kinds of great variants. And I mean, I paid full price for this, which I never do.
Dude, those B covers are non-existent in my area.
I know, it's sick. So what do we got here? This is one of those ones you got to really break down. Like, there's a lot of stuff in between the panels on this. We have, all right, so what do you do when you take somebody who has no fear, dramatic resolve, and super smart, right? But has morals, right? And then you take carnage, just pure straight carnage, and you throw those two things together, right? You get the Batman that slap. That's in the title. But actually watching it move through this, I read some of the metal stuff. I didn't really like the metal stuff myself, but I think they've really kind of saved this Batman Who Laughs character, and they really did something with it. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful storytelling. It's beautiful villainy. It is, this is, even if they have like one slump that comes out of this, it would still be better than half the books that I buy, and I buy a lot of books. I'm just absolutely in love with this, almost to a sickness.
Yeah, this was good stuff. The Capullo cover, that black cover, oh my God, I absolutely love that cover. It's the cover B too. It's not anything special. You couldn't even get this one, Drew?
Yeah, like I said, I told you guys earlier in off air that I've had a very, very hectic week, and I didn't get to the shop until like 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. So everything that was not in my pool list that was kind of sought after was gone. So this was not my week.
Hang on, I got 5 of these.
Sweet.
I'll send you one.
Well, then I won't even offer. So, and this was good stuff. I love the Grim Knight. He's going there and busting and kicking ass. And there's Mr. Freeze over in the cage. Whoo, just lights him up with a flamethrower or whatever it is, dude. Mr. Freeze is gone. So, like you said, Drew, this is continuity. So is Mr. Freeze dead now? Or, it's kind of hard to see.
They cover that in the book. They said he almost killed Victor Freeze almost died, they say.
Oh, so he almost died. Okay, maybe
they actually covered that at the end of the story. I was like, did they just kill Mr. Freeze? And then no.
Okay, well apparently I missed that part. But this was good stuff. There was a lot of hype behind it. I didn't let myself really fall into that. Like, okay, this is going to be the best damn thing ever, and a big disappointment. I kind of like, okay, there's a lot of hype to it because the Batman Who Laughs, that character is getting a lot of steam, a lot of popularity. I don't know what that Teen Titans, 12, 13? That's 13, his first appearance. 13. I mean, that's shooting up in price too. So if you didn't get that, better get it now before it shoots up anymore if you're interested in it. But it was good. I'm definitely looking forward. I'm going to be getting all 6 for sure. I mean, dude, if they have any more of the covers, like I said, I'm not big on getting a 1 in 10 or 125 or a 1 in 15. Usually don't like spending that kind of money. But if they have more Capullo covers like this, dude, I'm all over that. That's some good stuff. But it is a stash for me.
I'm kind of curious as to how they kind of figure the continuity out. And if they do, because what Snyder's been doing through Metal and Justice League has actually been very well put together puzzle-wise as far as continuity goes. And I'm curious as to how Snyder's going to figure this story into it. We'll see. If we keep getting more really moody, delicious jock art, then I don't really care if the story sucks or not. It's going to be fun to look at. So we'll see where it goes.
You started with that one, Drew. So go back to Paul and your next book.
We'll do my other co-pick of the week, and that is Spawn Kills Everyone 2. This is what I needed this week. It was fucking hysterical. I came for the farting in the bathtub, but I stayed for the McFarlane versions of Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange, Doc Ock, Dr. Fate. Plus, seriously, it used the word "shart" in the book. That's quality writing right there. So I'm loving it.
I don't think anybody else read that Spawn Kills. Oh, you did.
I did.
What'd you think of?
So read this, did not know what I was getting myself into. Absolutely hilarious little book. Am I going to pick up some more? That's going to be a budget question, to be honest, because it's just silly, fun goodness. So we'll see. But was it a fun read? Yes, it was a fun read. I am kind of curious how he does plan on killing everybody, because he didn't kill anybody in this story.
He birthed the whole plot, though.
About to kill a bunch of his mini-me's. That was about it. But he ended up caring about them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go buy the book. Go waste your money on
it. Not everybody's as rich as you, Joe.
But I'm just saying, it was a cute book, and I think that's the intent of it. And I do have to agree with Drew. It does seem like a ripoff of Scotty Young's work there on the bottom, but that's Layfield for you. I mean, that's what he does. Like, we all know this. But it was a fun book.
You mean
and
McFarlane,
I recommend it. Yeah, no. Do I mean McFarlane? No, Layfield. Yeah. Layfield's a ripoff artist.
Yeah, well, McFarlane's the one who drew the book.
Yeah. McFarlane, he's been known to. Yeah, him too. It doesn't matter. It was a 90s artist thing. It's what you did in the 90s. But no, as far as the book goes, it's just a fun read. I might pick up number 1 or number 2. I might not. I don't know yet. Come back next week and find out.
Didn't number 1 come out like 6 months ago?
This is number 1.
No, that's Spawn Kills number 2, second volume, number 1. There was a Spawn Kills, the first volume. It came out like 6 months ago.
Yeah, just Spawn Kills Everybody 2. TOO.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I think it was a one shot, wasn't it, Paul?
I think it was. This one's multiple issues.
Apparently, the auction show wiped out Legend so much he's going to go lay down. He's going to be listening, though.
Well, I don't blame him.
He did like 10 hours over the last 2 days.
Hey, Drew, do a little ASMR in his ear there.
Hey there, Legend. Hope you're doing well.
I would have literally
you got all the money you wanted for your auction there. I hope you raised lots of money. The community did a great thing. You did a great thing helping us. I really think that we should do this every year. The Legends auction is great, and I think that you're doing a great job. Everything's great. It's all great.
You're messing it up.
I was praying.
The sun's going down, big fella. The sun's going down, big fella. It's time to settle down.
Shut that mess off. I don't like ASMR.
I was praying your headset would just go.
I can't wait.
Nasty.
It only does that when you guys deserve it. Just heads up. I asked him. He was like, "No, as a headset." I wait for Paulie to deserve it, and then we go off.
No.
I don't know why, but
I guess we'll go back to Joe since you're next up.
Stick with some web slinging goodness. Amazing Spider-Man number 11. This is the animation version of this as well. Got this for a pretty good price. Let's show you all something in this book.
Reading the chat. Sorry, Joe.
So, yeah. I didn't really much care for this story because all of a sudden, old JJJ himself likes Spider-Man. I must have missed it. Like, I know I'm coming back new to comic books. Okay. But, like, seriously, it went from hating him, wanting him arrested, to wanting him dead. That I do remember. To loving him, protecting him, and basically making Spider-Man his man bitch. And then we had some C-list villains in here. at best. And then at the end, what we wanted to see in the beginning of the book finally does happen. And we actually get a big baddie that pops out of nowhere. Okay, fine. I'll go with you for right now. This is your break from all the good stuff you were doing in the beginning. Soft stash. But that's all I got for you. Nothing else. And I got to pee really bad, so I'll be right back.
I think J. Jonah Jameson ended up saving him at the end. Amazing Spider-Man 800. The end of
something like that. Yeah, but it was like a should I not kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think what he gave a secret up that Spider-Man had, and Spider-Man chose to forgive him. I think maybe that's what's coming from. But go ahead, go pee pee, go tinkle, and we'll let Drew talk about Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, Princess has got a PP, so let's talk about how great this Otley art is. I'm really enjoying it. A lot of people haven't been. I like the Ramos art we've got in the last arc, but this is really cool. I like Spencer and Otley together. As far as old JJ, he has been on Team Spider for quite some time now. He's actually Peter Parker's step uncle. Yeah, that's weird, but that's a thing. Yeah, I like this story. I like where it's going, man. Really enjoying it. Spencer has got a good handle on this character and all of these characters, actually. And it's interesting to see Peter Parker struggling once again. So I enjoy that. I'm a stash it.
Is JJ a podcaster in that book?
I think he's a talk radio personality now.
Oh,
he doesn't own the Bugle anymore, I think, or he's not the editor of the Bugle anymore. So
that big baddie at the end, is that a new character, or is that an old Spider-Man rehash?
Where are we at here? It's the tease that we've been getting, right?
Is it that same King looking dude? Good Lord. The guy from the first issue.
It ended with Gargan, right? The Scorpion.
I don't. Who was the baddie in that book, Joe?
Are we still on that semi-entertaining book?
The ASM, yeah. Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, Scorpion at the end.
Oh, Scorpion. Okay.
Yeah, Scorpion's at the end here.
Oh, okay. So it's not a new character. It's just an old Spider-Man character.
No,
you got a nice little redesign on him.
Oh yeah.
I did enjoy that.
I'm still waiting for the reappearance of that new villain that was in the first issue.
He's been popping up in the background here and there.
Yeah, but nothing. I mean,
he's been attached to all the villains lately.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe like the Mad Hatter of
Look, Spider-Man has the greatest rogues gallery in the history of comics. Batman can suck it. Spider-Man's rogues gallery is way better. More interesting characters all around.
Okay. Do you read? I don't think you read that. Did you, Paul?
No.
Looking at my list here. Okay, I'll go over my book. The book that I'm the only one that read. I think everybody else dropped off. Cemetery Beach #4. Nothing really new. Same stuff going on. They're trying to get out. They're going through these different layers of this city, this area, and they're still getting chased. But out of, I don't know how many pages is 32 or 28 or whatever. There's like 8 pages. There's like no dialogue at all. It's just boom. It's just. I mean, I don't like big words because they're hard for me to sound out. But I like a little more verbiage than that. There's just pages of just action. It would work good in a movie, but it doesn't really work so good in the comic. I'll still continue to pick it up. I'm not sure if this is a miniseries or not. I'm just looking forward to picking up. It's got a lot of great action. Just needs more dialogue. So it's a stash, kind of. So, Drew, you're up again.
Oh, all right. What do you guys want to talk about? I got a lot of books here.
I know you do. I heard the list at the beginning of the show. I just said screw it.
I know. I read like almost everything that came out this week. Let's talk about some indie titles. I'll tell you what, guys. I will give you a twofer.
Ooh, a twofer.
A 2-book review.
Little menage a trois from Drew.
a 2-book review, and it's a stack of 4 books because I picked up the variant covers. For
I
both
know which
books.
ones these are.
Black Hammer Cthulhuese, and I also picked up the other cover for Cthulhuese. And Black Hammer The Quantum Age #5. I picked up both covers there. So here's the deal with Black Hammer. It's fucking great. And if you're not reading it, you're living life all wrong. If you like superheroes, it's awesome. If you like horror, it's awesome. If you like science fiction, it's awesome. Jeff Lemire has created his own continuity, his own superhero world, and is really fleshing it out. Quantum Age is probably, as far as the I would say, well, what do you want to call them? Like offshoots, tie-ins, sub stories, is probably the most tied into the main story, and you didn't even realize that until this issue, which is really, really cool. I thought it was like, well, what is going on with Quantum Age? I mean, I guess it's the same world, but it's the future, and how does this connect? It really does in a lot of different ways, and this is really awesome. Cthulhuese is a spotlight on one of their villains in this universe, and it's really great. It's cutesy, it's fun, it's also violent and dark and horrifying, and it's something everybody should check out. I can't recommend Black Hammer enough, and I certainly can't recommend Cthulhuese or Quantum Age enough. I think that all of these Black Hammer titles, Dr. Starr was fantastic. Was the Sherlock Frankenstein had some art issues, but was overall really good. Anything written by Jeff Lemire, published by Dark Horse Comics, tied to the Black Hammer universe is an infinite stash. You guys should all be reading this. I should say Black Hammer, and everybody should say, yeah, fuck yeah. That should be the response. I should say Black Hammer, and you guys should say, No, that's wrong. You're supposed to say,
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. There we go. That's
Black Hammer, it's awesome.
It is fucking amazing. And that's all I have to say about that.
Did you read those books this week, Paul?
No, I did not read them yet.
I've been listening to quite a few podcasts lately, and there are quite a few talking about Black Hammer and saying what a great story it is. And I kick myself in the butt now because they were out, and my store had tons of them, and I just didn't bother picking them up. I'm like, that doesn't really look. And then I've heard more about the story. It sounds something a little interesting. I want to get into it, but I digress. Joe, what'd you think of Cthulhuese?
Not read Black Hammer. I'm not into the Quantum Age thing. Those are something I just didn't pick up because I didn't know anything about it. So I picked up this to give it a shot because of all the hype. And apparently I ended up, out of all of the Black Hammer stuff, I got the child story. Okay, I'll go with that. Girl feels out of place at a school. We've heard this story before. And instead of becoming the pretty girl in school all of a sudden by taking off her glasses, she leads all of her friends into a sewer, and her grandfather eats them and then eats her and puts her into another universe. Okay.
Where everyone's a Cthulhu.
Right, where now she's normal, just like everybody else. And that's kind of the point of the story as you go through. Fine. Good setup. I better get something cool in the second issue because all you did was set me up. That's it. I did not get overly tight into this. I think it was just an introduction to a universe and into a new story. Fine. I better see some villainy come up in the next issue. Otherwise, so for right now, light stash, because I get you got to set up a story. I'll read the second one. If it's kind of along the same lines as this, I'm dumping it after that. And I'll probably go try to find Black Hammer.
In the chat, we got Jockio talking up Black Hammer. Comics Mix Explained also brought up that he's looking forward to a Black Hammer DC crossover. Yeah, we got some news that's happening. Jockio says Black Hammer DC crossover. That will disappoint. Here's the thing. Comics Mix Explained just said it. I believe in Lemire. I also believe in Lemire. All right. What I don't believe in is DC editorial. So if they let Lemire do what he wants to do, it'll be great. If they put their nose in and say, well, no, Bendis is doing this with Superman, or Tom King's doing this, but we can't do this with Batman, Justice League, Snyder's doing it, then it'll suck. I don't think that will be the case. DC doesn't give a fuck about continuity. I've said that 30 times so far tonight. So hopefully they'll let they'll let Lemire do what he wants to do with these characters. Definitely have faith in Jeff Lemire. Editorial is the only issue there, so we'll see.
We need to get some T-shirts made up. Believe in Lemire.
I'm gonna get T-shirts printed up that says DC Comics don't give a fuck about continuity.
Think about DC Comics and continuity. Let's go with Paul. What do you think of Hawkman #5? How about continuity?
Well, this is more of the new origin for Hawkman, and I like Hawkman, but this was really an odd issue. I'm not a huge fan of the art, and I don't think he needed a new origin. I mean, not every hero needs to be retconned that they're a genocidal mass murderer before they have some magical redemption because of a phantom with a pair of tits. So,
wait, you had me at tits? What?
Yeah.
What?
Take over Mike's spot, Drew.
No, just to clear up, I've been reading up to the issues now. I haven't picked up the new issue yet, but it seems like in all the other issues, the continuity story's always been that he's lived past lives, but we never knew what those past lives were. Did they completely change that in the 5th?
Well, they made him basically he was feeding Thanagarians into some machine to bring some evil being to life and shit. And he didn't need to be a genocidal mass murderer.
Can I ask you a question about Hawkman?
Sure.
Is he an alien or is he like ancient Egyptian?
The Golden Age version is the ancient Egyptian, and then the Silver Age version was the alien.
Okay, so DC don't give a fuck about continuity.
Well, all the Golden Age characters are separate from the Silver Age ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's upsetting. Comics Mrs. Splain just chimed in and said, can't grab Phantom titties, and that's true, and it's still sad.
Now, do you think, again, listening to the podcast, was saying that pretty much Dark Knight's Metal was kind of like the way to bring Hawkman back into DC continuity? Do you feel that's a big reason why they had the DC Metal, to kind of bring him back?
If it was, I was totally offended by how they did Hawkman in Metal. I hated it with the burning hot fire of 1,000 suns. It sucked.
That's the only time I've ever given a shit about Hawkman.
I've been liking the series up to this point. It's kind of like an Indiana Jones through Quantum Leap /
I really liked the first 4 issues, and this one I was just like, what?
So in an arch, this is the crappy story. We should get a good story next.
Yep.
Okay.
They did bring back Martian Manhunter and Metal, and I think Metal was more about setting up Snyder's Justice Universe League more than anything.
Oh, well, they bring the Dark Universe and stuff in too, right?
Right. I mean, you don't get Metal, you don't get the Justice League Dark that everybody is really liking right now. You don't get the Legion of Doom back. You don't get all that stuff. So, if you're not a fan of it, hey, man, I get that. There's plenty of shit out there I don't like, but I think that overall, I think it's really tied together.
I love the tie-ins for Metal. I didn't like the main storyline.
Oh, with like Death Machine and the Death Machine or Red Machine or Red Death or whatever. I can't remember all their names now.
Murder Machine, Red Death.
Machine. Yes, thank you. Okay, Joe, you're up with your next book.
Oh, what are we going to talk about? Let's talk about something good. Let's talk about it. You know him and I love him. Superman, because this is the best book this year. I'm lying to you.
I'm waiting for Drew's head to explode.
Yeah.
First off, garbage cover. However, I'll give it its due. Up to this point, it's been a garbage story. It hasn't made any sense. It's a bunch of ridiculous, and we're made to forget the story. But they did do some pretty cool stuff in this book. They really cleaned up the art in it, I think. Now, I've always been an Adam Strange fan. I know that's kind of an oddball character to like, but he is Golden Age classic superhero. I actually own 4 of his Golden Age books from back in the day. So I'm a big fan of that. I mean, they really cleaned up the splash pages in here where they actually start making a little bit more sense. I'll give it that. The story's been cleaned up a little bit, where it's not so convoluted, where you can't tell who's who and what's what and why everybody is. And basically, we just get Superman doing what he does best. I mean, some of these, I like the fact they put more splash pages in this because it takes away from the imagination of artists that don't know how to do this kind of work. The cover, I'm hating it. The story up to this point, I haven't liked it much, but I will say out of the issues so far, if you can stomach the cover or get one of the other variant for it or the trade dress for it, go with that, because it's starting to get a little bit better. And I think we might have some cool things here in the near future, but that's just speculation. But I actually enjoyed this book. That's all I'm going to say about Superman up to this point. This one's okay.
Oh, my next book is another book that nobody else read, by Albatross Comics, and that is Mega Ghost. This is the cover B. Albatross, if you don't know, is the publishing company owned by Eric Powell. So that's the Eric Powell cover right there. Eric Powell cover was $5.99, where the regular cover was $3.99. So you paid a couple extra bucks for Eric Powell to adorn the art, the cover. So basically, this whole story is a teenage kid with these other kids. They end up going to a house. He finds a ring, and he ends up freeing these three beings here. And they say he needs to be able to summon Mega Ghost. So essentially, at the end of the big monster shows up. Big fight shows up. There's Mega Ghost there. He's controlling him with the ring. He's fighting. What was the name of that movie that came out where they're fighting the big monster that came out of the rift in the Pacific? What was it?
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. Yes, I knew I'd get there one way.
Pacific Rim. It was called Pacific Rim.
Thank you. Thank you. So they end up fighting in water. Kind of remind me of that quite a bit. This guy's art. I can't keep going because you're busting my balls over here. Kind of reminds me of Eric Powell, but it's not Eric Powell stuff. It was okay. I don't think it was great. But definitely, love supporting indie books. Eric Powell can be good, and some things not. But overall, it's kind of a stash for a first book. I'd definitely pick up second issue to see where it's going. Oh, back to DruManchu.
Yeah, you're not even going to ask me if I read Mega Ghost?
You didn't, did you?
There's a funny story about that.
You did not.
I did not pick up Not Hillbilly. I did not pick up the Albatross book that was not Hillbilly.
Alex Ross.
Albatross.
Albatross. I said Alex Ross.
There's only one book that they publish that people buy, right?
Hillbilly. Goon. I mean, well, Goon is not being published.
Oh,
well, Goon is coming back.
Dark Horse.
Goon. Come on. Get the fuck out of here with that Goon shit.
Well, yeah, that's right. That is by Dark Horse, but I think it's going to be they have like an anniversary coming up, and so it's going to be released by Albatross, I believe.
You guys want to talk about something else?
The biggest problem with Eric Powell books is it takes him about 8 months to come out with each one, and you never know when they're coming out.
Buying it, he stops drawing it.
Yeah, and he quit on Hillbilly too, so he doesn't even do any art on Hillbilly.
He's a goddamn quitter.
Yeah, goddamn it.
Nobody likes a quitter.
All right, guys, let's talk about something awesome. You guys ready?
No.
Stash of the week. Uncanny X-Men #5. This is great. People are hating on it. Guess what? Suck it. It's great. It's amazing. We get here X-Men. He's like, hey, I want to make the world a better place. Everybody's like got ideas on how they want to do that. And maybe he doesn't have all the best ideas. So he's basically, his prisoners are his counsel. He takes some advice from Apocalypse, of all people. Fantastic story. I like the way this is going. There's all kinds of shit going on all over the place. The art has been even more than consistent. It's been absolutely beautiful throughout. The writers are really capturing these characters. It's just all kinds of stuff going on, and it's all piecing itself together really nicely. I'm really enjoying it. I like the Madrox stuff. I really dig Legion being a linchpin in this story. I like the young X-Men that they're using to further the schism between the older X-Men and the new X-Men. There is only one drawback to this book. There's only one thing wrong with it, and that is there's no Honey Badger. If Honey Badger was in this book, I could fucking burn the rest of my comics and just read this. It's fucking amazing. I love it. Uncanny X-Men, number 5, my stash of the week.
You read a couple X-Men books. Joe,
I read a ton of X-Men books. Joey read a couple too.
I know. So I'm trying to get you right now.
Keep that one because Midtown, did what they do best. They screwed me over.
Paul, do you have any more books this week?
Nope, I am done for this week.
You're done for this week. Going into Joe.
Well, I got all kinds of books. What do y'all want to talk about?
Well, you bring up. You the one to bring it up. You choose.
Let's talk about my second favorite book of the week. I'm really digging this series.
Yeah, your audio is off big time.
Huh?
You're like You're
totally out of sync.
Yeah, totally out of sync.
It's like watching a kung fu movie.
Is that one?
Oh, we can hear you just fine, and we can see you just fine. We just don't do both at the same time.
Oh.
The words come out and the mouth moves 10 seconds later.
All right, let's give it a shot now. How'd that work?
You're doing
That's better.
Right. Okay. Better. All right. Let's talk about Black Order. All right, so we saw the first issue, and we got it from the perspective of Clovius Glaive. Now we get it from the perspective of Miss Midnight herself and all of her good evilness going on. I think that's going to be the scenario for these stories. A lot of internal monologue, where they're at, what they're trying to do. We find out just how badass she really is in person and the internal thought that she has, which is interesting because we get the depth of a character and we always get the box and their narrative, but we don't really get to learn anything about the character. We actually get that from these characters now, and I think that gives them another depthness that I didn't think about before. We find out that she's actually extremely ruthless, and I like that. Like, I like my villains to be villains, and even though they're going to be kind of doing something good here real soon, they're still doing it because they're villains. That's great. They're not getting changed into good guys. They're being villains because that's what their nature is and that's what they're born to do. How much goodness is that? Art's really clean in it. Story's making sense. The Emperor guy, for some reason, every time I read his dialogue, I keep thinking of, what's the fat actor's name that played in Superbad? Jonah
Hill.
Jonah Hill. For some reason, I keep getting a Jonah Hill vibe from that dude. Because he's kind of stupid. He's trying to be a bad guy, but he doesn't know how to be. And then what do you do when you're stuck with like really bad people? And then we got a dungeon full of good guys that want to do good things and be a resistance. And this is the same old shit that they've heard thousands and thousands of times before. They're like, screw you guys. We're doing our own thing. If we got to team up for a little bit, we're going to screw you over. And like, they're totally blatant about it. And I love that. It is great reading. Highly recommend it. Hard stash.
So it's a little better than the last week or last issue where he wasn't sure where he fit in the group.
Again, it's all internal monologue from each character's perspective.
Okay.
And I think that was just his. And I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was hilarious. But now we get her and we find out that, they're married, they're together, and you find out just how opposites they are. And it was nice.
Well, sorry to cut you off there, Drew. Go right ahead with your thoughts on Black Order numero 2.
You didn't cut me off because I hadn't started yet. I was kind of trying to think.
Why you started? No, go ahead. Sorry, I'll shut my mouth.
Fucking half squatch. You must have got your manners from your squatch half.
I did.
Yeah, I was just kind of opening this up to the credit page real quick because there are so many freaking names on the cover of this book. I was like, what is actually going on here? Because it kind of really had a nice cohesive feel to the entire thing. It's one writer. Landy's doing all the writing on this. Derek Landy did the first issue as well. I really enjoyed that first issue. I'm pretty sure I stashed that along with all these variant covers. I'm really loving this, man. The Black Order, some really interesting characters. It's kind of nice to see them recognize the fact that the last couple times they've been kind of used as fodder. They were Thanos' army, and then they were working for the Grand Master, and now they kind of realize that the Grand Master is kind of just using them, and they know that, and they're just trying to find a way to kill and war and do whatever they want to do. That's the Black Order's deal. If they die along the way, it's an honorable death, and that's kind of what they want. This is cool, man. I think that the overarching story of the Emperor is something that's continuity wise going to totally be throwaway, and I think that they're really going to work on each of these characters one by one and show you their thought process. So I enjoy that. I can't wait for the Ebony Maw issue. I want to know more about what goes on inside the head of what's his name, Black Dwarf. They call him Call Obsidian in the movies, the big giant dude. He comes up on one of the guys in the prison, and he's like, what's your deal? He's like, he starts talking. He's like, yeah, move. I'm sleeping here.
I'm sleeping there. That was
pretty
hilarious.
bad. I dig it, man. Black Order is definitely a stash.
Okay. Moving on to me. What do I got? I don't know who else read this week. Not Drew read it. Okay. So Batman Annual number 3. So this whole book focuses on, essentially, it's an Alfred story. It's what Alfred does to help Bruce manage to be Batman. You know, how much energy and stuff that Alfred does so Batman can be Batman to protect the people of Gotham. That's his whole story. You know, Batman has the flu, and Alfred saying, hey, man, you're sick. Here, take some soup, blah, blah, blah. And Bruce really realizes what Alfred does to let him do what he needs to do to protect the city. I don't think you need to read it to know anything that's going on with Batman. This is kind of a cool story. A lot of heart in there. Was it $4.99? Was it probably? Yep, $4.99. I could have passed on it, but it was a good story. I thought, good heartful story. Drew,
it's definitely a throwaway story. You don't need it. But character stuff in here was great. Schmidt's art was awesome. Taylor did a great job with it, and it's definitely a step up from what Tom King's doing. If you're not liking Tom King's Batman, read this, and much like Detective this week, you'll get the feeling that, oh, this is Batman. This is what I want from Batman. This is, I mean, we had Batman Who Laughs, we had Batman Annual, we had Detective Comics. All three are stashes this week, man. The Batman Damned is the only one that earns the Turd of the Week moniker. Maybe it's because we didn't get a Tom King Batman book this week. So, hey, man, I'll take that. That's pretty awesome.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I got to say something. My servants are not allowed to have a story in my continuity, so I don't even know why this is a comic book.
Did you read that, Joe?
Well, the thing is,
no, I just told you why.
No, Double S, Tom King is not writing Batman in this issue. It's an annual that's written by Taylor. Look, man, Alfred's more than a servant to him. Okay,
Nope,
he's like a father to him, but he's a father that he still makes fetch him soup because, I mean, who wants soup? Just make your dad go get it.
He's a paid babysitter and chauffeur.
He's
Shut up in the car.
He's a badass, so he's kicking guys' ass in the alley.
He got his ass kicked a little bit too.
Yeah, but he didn't go down. The other guys took off. So, like I said, I thought the story had some heart to it. It was good. You know, kind of. I think the last page said like Happy Father's Day, which is weird. Like, why didn't this come out in June? You know, around Father's Day. But oh well. I think we're going with lightning round. We're at 8:18. We don't have Shut Your Funko Mouth, so we're running a little bit later. So go ahead with your lightning round there, Drew.
Oh, sweet Jesus, we're in lightning round already.
I know, dude. We're an hour and 15 minutes into the show.
Yeah, but I got so many books to go through and talk about.
We'll talk about your top 2 favorites.
Scooby Apocalypse. This is good, man. Good stuff. If you like Scooby, you like Apocalypses, put them together. That's what you get. Somebody's got their Scooby in my Apocalypse. Got your Apocalypse in my Scooby.
Sounds a bit personal, but go ahead.
X-Men stuff. We got Mr. and Mrs. X #6. They're back from space. They're having finally a little bit of an engagement party post-wedding. It's kind of weird. But this is another one of those wedding type issues. Nothing really to be had here. Kelly Thompson does a great job with these characters and kind of doing slice of life fun stuff with superheroes. And I enjoyed it. I like Rogue and Gambit. They're great characters. So yeah, I dug it, but I would guarantee you that most people wouldn't. This is the final issue of Weapon X, and I've been saying I'm going to drop this title, but I'm like, nah, 2 more issues, 3 more issues, 2 more issues, 1 more issue. Fine, I'm going to pick them up. Yeah, they're finally back from hell. They destroyed Stryker, or what? No, what was his name? The freaking God Loves Man Kill guy. I can't remember his name, but anyway, he's no longer a problem. And they finally did the best thing they possibly could, and they revert Sabretooth back to evil. And evil Sabretooth goes running off naked into the woods. Who knows what's going to happen next? That's fine. I want Sabretooth ripping people apart. That's what Sabretooth needs to be doing. This was great.
Hey, Drew, real quick, before you jump into that, did you see Mr. Gressy's comments? Says Batman New 52 was also what Scott Snyder was killer, and now Rebirth Batman with Tom King is just as good, I hear. Do you have a rebuttal?
Not nearly as good. Batman New 52 stuff is really great. Scott Snyder did a fantastic job. Capullo's art was consistent throughout. The art in Batman Rebirth has been good. There have been a few stories here and there that have been okay, but overall, he has ruined Batman. He's made him a whiny little bitch, and now he's a maniacal killer, and it's just... none of it makes any goddamn sense. So, I mean, hey, if you're enjoying it, more power to you. I don't watch Days of Our Lives, but plenty of people like it. That's all I'll say.
You like Young and the Restless, though, don't you?
I'm more of a Riverdale guy, like Legends. So, Star Wars Dr. Aphra. This is the only Star Wars title that I'm still picking up, aside from the occasional Vader story arc. But yeah, great character. They need to make a movie about this bitch right here. That'll be some forced diversity in the Star Wars universe I'd be down with. X-Men Red. Let's talk about this for a minute. This was probably the best X-Men title out of the Resurrection stuff. 11 is the final issue of X-Men Red. Wraps up the Cassandra Nova story arc. Really great ending to the story. This is the worst art I've seen in a Marvel book in a very long time. Paulie, I know you were loving X-Men Red, and I know you gave up on it. This is not the issue to come back for. Man, is it terrible. This looks like it's so rushed. I have to share it with you guys. There's just...
Is that the X-Men Red? Is that the run where that like Senator's head blew up, or was the other one?
Yes.
That was Red.
Okay.
The Phoenix-led team.
I mean, I'm not sure if you can see how bad this
Please,
art is.
Father, may I have some more?
It's just like, I can't even enjoy Honey Badger when she's drawn this terribly.
Yeah, that's just not good.
No, and it's like there's some really cool stuff in here. Like Honey Badger puts her hand right through Cassandra Nova's head, and it's just so ugly I can't enjoy it.
Is she wearing Magneto's helmet?
They're all wearing Magneto helmets.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yes.
Why is that?
To block Cassandra Nova's ability to manipulate their minds.
Oh, gotcha.
See, I can handle like highly stylized art, but when it's just bad,
it's not stylized as much as it's just really rushed and rough.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's the thing for me with Marvel is I think a lot of their books lately, it looks like they're half done.
You know what? I think that a lot of that is editorial style choices. I think that they're going with artists who have a less finished style. And I get that. That's fine. There's plenty of ugly books out there. There's plenty of books that people will enjoy the art, and I won't. I'm not a super stickler for that. But man,
you brought the devil out in that boy.
That's what you get.
Come on, we were agreeing. You're muted now. I can't hear you at all.
No.
Yeah. better.
Better.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. Yeah, it's just for a book that's been so good for the art to be so subpar. It's just, man, kind of a slap in the face. Let's finish up Marvel here. Picked up As Guardians of the Galaxy #4. I haven't read this yet, so we'll give it a shot. I've kind of enjoyed what Cullen Bunn's been doing with the Infinity Wars tie-in there, kind of seeing what the cosmic characters are up to. War of the Realms is coming. Jason Aaron has been working on building that for quite some time. I'm excited to see where that's going. But Avengers #11 shows the relationship budding between Thor and She-Hulk, and not really down for that relationship, but this is fun stuff. McGinnis is on the art, doing a okay job. I'm not really big on his style in this book, but at least he's consistent. The Best Defense Defender story. Picked up the Doctor Strange Scotty Young cover. Haven't had a chance to read it yet, but a very hectic week. I did pick up. What's that?
Good stuff.
Okay. I did pick up the Silver Surfer issue, the Scotty Young cover there as well. And this is kind of all over the place story-wise. But man, I enjoyed it. I think that I'm a big Silver Surfer fan. I love Galactus. I think that this intergalactic threat that's coming is kind of cool. So I'm excited for it. I just looked down in the chat and it says, Double S said, you want Sabretooth ripping people apart naked? And yeah, that sounds awesome. Oblivion Song #10 came out this week. If you guys aren't still reading Oblivion Song, you missed the best issue so far. This is really good. The story is really going somewhere. We get some more conflict between the brothers, and holy shit, that just fell off my shelf. And I hope it's okay. And yeah, man, it's just been stellar. The art has been consistent. The story's been great. Great characters, great creatures in this one. Man, it's all hell broke loose. So we're going to see how they try to put everything back into Pandora's box, which they're not going to be able to. People are going to die. It's going to be great. Dan Slott is not still writing Silver Surfer, Mr. Gretzky. That run ended. I picked up Skyward #9. Skyward #9 is expanding on the story here. Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? What is the motivation of our main character? It's kind of all up in the air right now, which is apropos for being a world without gravity. So cool stuff. I'm still enjoying this. We're going to see how it goes. And my co-pick of the week this week, I mean, Uncanny was great. And it always is. But this right here is probably my favorite book running, and that is #10 of Headlopper, part 2 of the 3rd volume. Andrew McLean tells a quarterly adventure story. This comes out 4 times a year. It is a giant oversized book. The art is fantastic, and as far as a review, I'll just read the blurb on the back of the book because I read it and I was like, you know what, that's absolutely perfect. It says it's epic, dark, often funny, but always 100% badass. And that couldn't be more true. Headlopper is fantastic. It's like the art is like Mignola on crack. It's fucking phenomenal, man. Great humor in here. Fantastic action, and the characters are redeemable and enjoyable to deal with. I really dig it, man. Really dig it. That was my week.
That's your week. Okay.
That was my week in comics, brah.
Brah. Easy, brah.
Just settle down, brah.
Brah.
Settle, brah.
Lightning round in your books?
On mine, I try not to have too many opinions about things, so I'll just go ahead and tell you everything that I got because it was a fucking awesome week. Here we go.
I'm glad you have opinions.
Silver Surfer, and because I picked up one Scotty Young, and my wife said, "Oh my God, that is so cute! You got to get all of them." I did. So we got Doctor Strange, which this was a pretty good story. I know everybody in the chat. I know you're saying you like this. I think you just like the young Mary Poppins character being a young Mary Poppins character. And that's me spoiling it without spoiling it. Fair enough? Thumbs up if you all get me?
I think I got what you're talking about there.
And of course, I had to go ahead and pick up the Hulk and Namor as well because my wife was with me, and I love my wife, and I need her to be around me. Next,
That was awful sweet.
Or
Avengers
desperate.
number 11. All right, so Thor's hooking up with She-Hulk, and he goes on a date with her alter ego, and it's a shit date. And then he starts talking about how much he loves the color green, and next thing you know, he's making out with She-Hulk. Is that a menage a trois or not? I'll leave it up to you in the chat room.
Better strap a board to his butt.
Right? Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen, whatever the hell you want to call this today. Yeah, this turned to garbage real fast. They keep saying it's a tie-in to the Spider-Geddon thing. I've seen nothing relatable to Spider-Geddon in any way other than Spider-Gwen being in a place she doesn't want to be, and she keeps bitching about going home just to go fight a bigger war when she can't even solve the problems. The minor problem villain in this one. Garbage. Oh, let's see here. Wonder Woman. What issues? It doesn't even matter. 60. I bought it for the cover. Read the story. Ares is back, trying to be good, doesn't understand. So Wonder Woman beats the shit out of him to teach him of his ways. A baby's hurting. Okay. Trevor, her love interest, finally gets escorted to Aphrodite. So now Aphrodite is going to be part of the story. Now we're going to find out if the actual writer of the story knows anything about storytelling, because there's an interesting history between Aphrodite and Ares. And my guess is they don't, because it's a garbage story. Let's see here. Oh, Blast of the Week. Set this garbage on fire. Dead Kings. This had so much potential. Everybody was excited. You had the mech war stuff, yada, yada, yada. And we spent 28 pages finding out how badass an old Russian woman is. Boom. Now, some cool things happened in the book. Not going to take that away. She's kind of ninja. She's kind of badass. But basically, this book the entire time was, I'm woman, I'm Russian, hear me roar. And it didn't. It barely squeaked by. It was garbage. No real story there whatsoever. Before everybody gets mad at me, let me be very clear. When you tell a story, it goes into a circle to some degree or leaves you at a cliffhanger that gets explained later. This did nothing. For 28 pages, all we found out was what this woman is capable of doing. Thank you for nothing. Let's see here. Oh, Aliens. Aliens 3, the second issue. All right, so if you don't know, this is the original script of Aliens, the movie, before the directors chopped it all up and made it garbage. This is what it was supposed to be. And it's a pretty good story thus far. I've been enjoying this. I highly recommend it. If you are a fan of the Aliens movies, definitely check it out. Next. New Talent Showcase. I was absolutely enthralled with this book. I know we get these books all the time, and you're like, oh, good try. New artist. You tried. This was stupid, sick, awesome. This is my stash of the week. You got several stories. Unlike the Christmas special garbage that we had, you got a full, complete story of each one of these. You got a cool story with Zatanna. You got a cool story with Batman. You got a quickie, little tale with Catwoman and Robin, and how funny that was, and what they would look like if they were kind of sort of a family, which is a unique dynamic to this story. If you haven't picked this up yet, look, I very rarely do I tell people how to spin their. Actually, I do it for a living, but I'm giving you free advice.
You don't have to pay for this advice. You get it free.
Go out and get this, because if these artists get a chance to write and do the artwork that they produced in this book on a regular basis, you're going to have some gold on your hand. Is it going to be worth money? I don't know, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's just good stuff. Go get it. And last but not least, as I show my cleavage, my golden age pickup of the
Get another
week
free service you offer. Cleavage.
is Rocket Kelly. Interesting golden age book here. It's actually a misprint, and you have to be kind of sharp to catch it. Rocky Kelly was a 5-issue run that was done way back in the day, and it was produced by Rocket Kelly, actually, is the name of the ink on it. They kind of started this whole sci-fi genre with the oversized wings and the coloring of space age stuff. The most interesting about this particular issue is I don't want to say it's the first misprint ever, but there's still some conjecture in the Golden Age community about that. It says 5 on the outside, but on the inside, where it talks about the book and everything, it keeps calling it issue 4. So technically, it's a misprint. This book came out in 1938. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Correction. 1946. And this is when just sci-fi was sci-fi. This is what we base our sci-fi off of today. It's a great run. I only need one more to complete this out, and I'm very happy to have that in my personal collection. And that was a lot. We got this good.
What else do I have? I only have one thing. I didn't even read it. That Rocky Kelly, though, kind of reminds me of my dad had this collection. It was a collection of the old Buck Rogers comic strips into one big book. And that ship on there kind of reminds me a lot of that stuff that was in that Buck Rogers book, you know, kind of that bulbous kind of ship look to it, the wings and stuff.
The interesting thing is Rocky Kelly's what kind of started that with the Flash Gordon, the Buck Rogers. Mm-hmm. They kind of started it with all that kind of genre right there. They really kind of produced this forward.
Yeah. Just kind of reminded me a lot of that. And what sucks is I had 2 copies. It was a big freaking yellow hardbound book. I never had the slipcover for either one, but I lost them both. I have no clue to where they went to. It's kind of a bummer. I mean, they weren't in great shape by any means, but it's still kind of something cool to have. The only book that I didn't read that I did pick up, and that is Avengers number 11. But you're saying it's a date night between is it Jennifer? Is that her real name?
Portion of the story is there's some other things going on, but
there's a lot more going on in the book.
Okay, I would say a lot. Yeah, about 12 more pages worth.
Ooh, no. I would say probably the Thor She-Hulk stuff is probably like 2 pages, 3 pages.
No, it's 8 pages long. It's a 28-page story. That leaves you about 12 extra pages plus advertising.
Well,
mathematically, that's correct.
There's a lot of Phil Coulson stuff going on in there. Yeah, he's back.
All right, so Phil Coulson's saying a lot of words to a person that we don't know, and that took up 4 pages.
Right, and you also get the council, the Winter Guard comes together with
that was all
the Avengers. I don't know. I kind of enjoy the intrigue of it.
A bear, Yogi the bear got upset.
Yogi, who's the ranger from Yogi Bear? It's Ranger.
Is it Dave?
Ranger
Dave?
No,
Danger
not
Ranger. Dave
no,
the Danger Ranger.
No. It is
Herbie.
Not Herbie either, jackass.
Herbie the Danger Ranger.
What's his name? Dang it! What was the park ranger from
Ranger Smith?
Bear? Was it Ranger Smith?
Yeah,
that seems very generic. But
we just saw him in the Hanna-Barbera crossover with and that one a couple of weeks ago.
It is generic.
Was Ranger Smith on part of the investigation?
Does that offend you that they just gave the Ranger a generic name? Does that offensive?
No, I get offended because not all park rangers wear those wide brim hats like they portray in every single comic book and movie.
I'm sure they don't make them in half squash sizes. That's the only reason you don't have one.
No, we have some. We don't have the hard brim ones. We have the soft brim, like bigger hats, but I don't wear those. I refuse to wear those. That's too much Ranger Rick. I won't do it.
Such a Danger Ranger rebel.
Okay. Now, since we don't have Mike, again, we don't have Shut Your Funko Mouth tonight.
I can talk about it again. You want me to run it? I ran it last time.
I got some great comments outside of YouTube. People running into me in the comic store and stuff like that, saying that your review of Shut Your Funko Mouth was actually probably one of the best reviews we've ever had. So
don't tell Mike that. He's like 7 away from 1,000. Don't tell him that.
He might be at 1,000 already. Ow, cramp. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what he's doing tonight. He's not here because he got 1,000 Funko Pops and he just came all over himself.
Not yet. Mom's in town. He's about to find out we're going to be in Cincinnati or in Chicago. So,
so I guess some people saw Spider-Man. I'm going to see Once Upon Deadpool tomorrow. see the PG-13 cut and see how that's going to be.
See that too, yeah.
And then I'm going to try to see Spider-Man later this week too, but we'll see what happens. My theater's not playing it.
Priority, man.
Well, my theater's not playing it. I'm waiting for my son to get back. We're all going to go see it together.
Don't sit close to the screen if you're I don't know. It's the animation's kind of weird for it. If you sit too close, it almost looks like it should be in 3D.
Dude, your eyes just rolled the back of your head, Drew.
They certainly did. It's the most visually appealing movie in the history of film. Oh my god, it's great.
It's a little rough.
Oh man, it's amazing.
If you sit close, it looks like you should wear 3D glasses. It's double lined. It's just weird.
It's supposed to mess with you, and it does.
My theater's not showing it for some stupid reason from the 20th till after Christmas.
It's racism.
It is. That's what it is.
Spider-Man's not white anymore.
But they're wanting to throw Aquaman. I'm not going to even say, yeah. We may end up seeing that instead on Friday. I don't want it. I'd rather see Spider-Man. I was going to wait for Blu-ray for Aquaman because I really wasn't going to pay for the theater to see it. But I guess we'll go do last minute shout outs. We're an hour and 40 freaking minutes right now. So last minute shout outs, Drew.
All right. Shout out to everybody in the chats. Pages, Films, and Plastic just popped in. Hey, man, check us out on the Rewind if you want to hear all the great things we had to say about all kinds of stuff. It was amazing. You should have been there. Everybody that hung out in the chat tonight, really excited for the participation. I know everybody's tired. Everybody hit up the Heroes auction all weekend long. Everybody's kind of burnt down on YouTube. But thank you very much for showing up and chatting it up with us. Really appreciate that. If you have the opportunity within the next couple of weeks, go see Into the Spider-Verse. It is the greatest comic book movie that has ever been released. It is the best Peter Parker on film ever, on television film. It is the best depiction of Peter Parker. It's fantastic. I can't say enough great things about it. And the post-credit scene is a fucking meme, and it's worth staying for.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It was pretty good.
It was phenomenal. Yeah, it was just great. I really enjoyed it. My 14-year-old daughter, who knows nothing about interdimensional Spider-Man, also had a fantastic time with it. I teared up at a couple points. It's a really great, touching story with depth and emotion. And, people probably weren't expecting that from a Spider-Man cartoon, so I really dug it. Yeah, beyond that, yeah, thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you guys next time. Oh, Stashies are coming up.
Yes, Stashies are December 30th. I'm working on the official Stashies award. I've got to figure out my stand. But this is a preview of our official little Stashies award that
Shut your fucking statue.
It's not going out to anybody. Although some people asked me if I told them I was making them, and they said, "You're going to give them out to any of your viewers?" And I thought, well, maybe if I get a couple more of the blank ones and just paint them or whatever. I don't know.
Get your asses on that Patreon. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I might create a couple Funkos to throw on there. Who knows? Paul.
As always, shout out to everybody in the chat. Special shout out to Legend, Edwin, ETA Nick, Enrique, and everybody else involved in the Heroes Initiative auction. They've raised a ton of money for a good cause, and they will be doing another one next Saturday for the overflow they received. And that's all I got tonight.
You ever read this Hell Shock J. Lee cover? Good, Joe.
That was kind of random.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for coming by tonight. Make sure to check out our Patreon site, where you too can be a winner of great comic books picked by Hueys. So don't blame me if you don't like them.
Hey,
but you can totally blame Joey if he wins the prize and you don't. So.
Also, just want to thank everybody in the chat room. We know it's been a long 2 days of YouTubing for you dedicated fans out there hacking it out, trying to make sure you see all your friends and support us. We do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Also, please check out my auction. Shameful plug coming up on JLR Auctions. Where the comic book enthusiast on there, by all means, you can max out your bid to whatever comic book you want. It will not go over, and everything's safe and secured. Never been a fan of live auctions until this weekend when I bid it on the Heroes Initiative, but that's a good cause. So what is the what do we do with this money? What's the charitable giving of it? None. I like staying rich. No, I'm kidding. So the funds are going to. I plan on making. For some of you that know that we're going to C2E2, and we're going to be staying at a house, and we plan on doing a little hospitality room. Plus, we also plan on giving back to the local community by spending money in it. And I want to buy you a drink. So if you see Pocan Joe beat bopping around Chicago. We will probably do some meetups at some local areas, and if I am there, I owe you a drink. So please help me out so it doesn't cut into my paycheck, and please bid on a couple of comic books. Trust me, nothing's going super high-end on this thing, but there are some high-end comic books there. Help yourselves. Hope you all enjoy. Guys, always a pleasure to be on here with you. Love you. And hey, Comics with Bueller, thanks for coming in tonight. Appreciate you. Great couple of shows that you've had on with Comic Tom and all that other stuff. I love listening to you on my way to Richmond, and that's a long drive, and you make that easier. Thank you.
Yeah, Bueller's in the house. Last minute Bueller sighting.
And whoever is bidding on those lowest lanes on your auction need to stop, because I want to get those.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, here's secret to the auction right now. If there's something on there for 12 cents and you put in your max bid for 5, chances are you're probably going to end up getting it, because that guy does not know what he's bidding on.
His audio is off bad now again. I don't know what's going on with him.
Again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's really bad, man. Yeah.
Blame white people.
So, yes, December 30th, our 3rd annual Stashies. That's coming up. We got a whole list of stuff that we're going to be talking about, our best comic, worst comic of the year. So definitely come check it out. It's always a fun night. We don't even really review any comics. We may do a quick show on like what we picked up that week, maybe a quick blast or stash, but not do a whole review of the book. But it's going to be probably an hour and a half of just us talking about our favorite stuff for the year. So definitely go check out the Patreon too. Actually, we got a new Patreon subscriber. That is Funkoff. So he joined in our Patreon now too as well. We have some new subs to the channel. I'll go through the list real quick. Sam's Tangled Web, The Gray Man, White Whale Comics, Daniel Orzola, Archangel, which I think he's been around for a while, hadn't he?
Yeah, he didn't like you until now.
Yeah, I know. Most people don't. I mean, not they find out such a cool park ranger, and then they go, "Whoa, wait a minute, that guy is
half
cool."
Squatches.
And Big Lion Cat 646. So some new stuff. I know something on YouTube. I got a notification saying that they're going through and they are deleting a whole bunch of like spam accounts. So they said if your subscription numbers drop, probably because of that. Not because people hate you. Not people don't like you. It's just because they're trying to get the weed out the bad people. I mean, people like me that do like Sasquatch Detective. I mean, we're likable people, you know, right? It's just so. It is what it is. Just because I can relate to character on 2 different levels.
Too.
Huh?
Half Squatches are people too.
Half Squatches. Squatch lives matter.
I guess they're half people.
No, it's kind of like writing a comic book for your servants. Not really.
Okay, guys. What are you blasted? What is Sashi? Happy reading. And we'll catch you next week.